Oh, all these things come up on the screen now. Fun. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
At 6:30,
Hello.
meeting is going to start.
Hello.
Thank you for making the time for this membership Zoom meeting on the fourth Tuesday of the month. What a great turnout for tonight's meeting, 22 people. And I'm so pleased to say that the special topic was really well received. We have quite a few entries that the photographer will be telling you about. Remember last month when I told you we surpassed the 60 member mark?
Yes.
Well, today I'm telling you we surpassed the 70 member mark. Actually, nearly 80 members as of today. Everyone should just tell one person about VPC. Talk to people you know, find out if they're interested in belonging to a photo club. Share the club email address, which is vpcvalleyphotoclub@gmail.com. Valley Photo Club's founding sponsor is the Valley Cultural Foundation. You can visit valleycultural.org and learn about the photo contest, which begins April 1. And that's not an April Fool's joke. There are money prizes. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a popularity contest, and there will be judges. While at the Valley Cultural Foundation website, you can listen to the Rock the Valley Battle of the Band 21 album release. I know it's worth at least 5 times the $5 price tag they're asking for it, and that supports Valley Cultural Foundation and the artists. Members of VPC as a group have attended the 4th Street Bridge Photo Walk alongside LA Photo Scene membership, the Venice Canals and the Boardwalk 2, the Huntington Gardens, the Descanso Gardens, a side trip to the zoo here and there, the Sepulveda Basin, the LA River, Hanson Dam, and a small group spent the day in Death Valley near the California-Nevada border. Plenty of photos have been shared on the Facebook group page. Tonight, our guest speaker will speak on the topic of set and theater photography. We have 39 photos to view tonight. 22 entries are in the open category. 17 entries are in the special topic open category, where the maker of the photo will tell us about the photo and or the process of the photograph they entered. Next month, pay attention here, the special topic will be low light. That could mean the flash did not go off as expected, or it could mean you took an intentional low light photograph. Please keep in mind that the photos in this special topic category that have not met the assignment requirement will not qualify for a score that allows them to be published in the upcoming Tuesday newsletter. Tonight, photos receiving a score of 8, 9, and 10 will be published in this Tuesday newsletter. This will include the special topic photo entries as well. Let's begin the photo share and praise. My loyal, faithful scorekeepers are Helene and Bill. Helene, are you ready to announce the title of the very first photo to be shared?
4th and Broadway.
I appreciate that. I'm not ready.
You know, it had a yellow thing around my name, but I wasn't talking.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this is not 4th and Broadway, by the way. This is just a photo I found to be a lot of fun. It got stuck in the slide reel. So enjoy it.
Pretty cool.
It's
Perfect for the National Puppy Day.
Oh, there's
the
one talking about puppies.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tell me when you really want me to say the
I'm
title.
ready. I'm ready. Helene, the first
Yes.
photo is?
4th and Broadway.
Oh, that's nice.
I was there when that one was taken. I was standing behind.
I was in Santa Monica.
I remember.
Yeah, you were, weren't you?
Yeah, I know. It's okay.
I don't,
Unedited photo? Or is there,
Maybe and maybe it is.
is there treatment on it?
Laura, are you here to talk about your photo? Laura's not here to answer us questions about her photo. I was there on that day, and I have similar photos taken at the same time that Laura was shooting this. And I don't remember the lighting being quite as beautiful as the lighting she acquired here. I'm speechless about this photo because the leading lines, it brings you outward, it brings you upward. I'm excited about this picture. I even like the fact that the lights are red all the way down the street. I don't know if that was intentional. I know when I'm behind the viewfinder, I don't see things like that. But all the lights are red all the way down the street. I'm loving this photo.
Yeah.
Any other comments?
Just that I really like it and something about it just is inviting me in. And I'm sorry she's not here to hear that.
I would have liked to see a little bit more contrast.
That's what I liked about it. It wasn't so contrasty.
I like the clarity of it and the lighting is just perfect.
The lighting's amazing. Yes, that's what's captured my heart.
I like
What's
all
the
the,
tower?
I like all the red lights. I think it really would have been much, I think if it were green, it wouldn't look as nice.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Just have a timer here that's giving me a little hard time. Get it?
Get it?
Well,
What is the tower there? Is that a radio station or?
I think it says RKO.
yeah.
Yeah,
Sunset Boulevard?
Or
really.
it say KRKO.
KRKO.
It's the newer version.
Yeah.
You put
Bill,
the
if I may
timer on,
ask,
but you
will
didn't start it,
Bill
Jay.
do the polls or will I? Bill, will you be doing the polls or will I?
I thought you were, unless
Okay,
you
no,
get
I'll do
knocked
that.
off.
I'll do them. I have no problem with that. If I can figure out how.
What
Bill,
are
why don't
those
you do the first poll for me, please?
Okay. Can you guys see it?
No,
No.
How do I get it to show up, Jay?
Have to do one without a poll.
Well, I can share my screen, I guess. Does that
No,
do it?
no, please don't. Please don't.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Okay.
launch the poll now. Do you guys see it?
no.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, I Yes. do now.
yes.
Okay, so technical difficulties occur for everyone.
Yep.
We have 21 votes in out of 26 people. I'm going to use this first voting to figure out how many people in the room voting. I now have 24, so I know I can end the polling. I'm going to end the polling and share the results and speak out loud that this received an 8.
Nice.
This photo received an 8. This poll card will not be seen on the recordings that are stationed on YouTube, so I repeat it several times to make sure that those that are viewing it on YouTube after the fact can know what happened. I'm stopping those share results. In our next photo,
Downtown LA, Pershing Square.
yeah, why not?
Ooh,
Is that it?
Interesting.
wow.
Well, that's kind of cool.
That is way cool. I love it.
Different.
I like the sun on making the bars glistening. I like the lines and the contrast. Patterns are also good.
Is that a social distanced bench?
Yes. You cannot
Before,
lie down.
before it was fashionable.
It's in Persian Square, so you cannot lie down on there and spend the night.
There you
Yes,
go.
There's,
Either It's that or skateboarders.
Oh,
Unless they're really good.
I really enjoy. I really
they can
enjoy.
skate along the top side.
Exactly.
I like the way this takes your eye from the front-ish middle to the swooping around to the other side.
Yeah. You know
Point of
what?
view is amazing. If you were 2 inches taller or 2 inches shorter, I don't know if it would have the same impact. It's beautifully done.
I think it'd be cool if there were a person sitting at the very far end or something. So when you lead your lines go in, it ends at something interesting.
I like the shadow of the tree that's on the pavement.
Yeah.
It brought me there. I like that. I love it. And then it brings me back because those shadows point here to this leading line. So I go yabba dabba 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 back here and again yabba dabba 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 dabba.
It might be good with a person, but I like it the way it is myself.
Me too.
I like it in black and white. If it had been color, might not have told the same story.
I think it's pretty classy.
Okay, now you guys vote.
Are you able to vote, Ellen?
I'm seeing 23 of 26 voters. I'm good. I'm ending the poll. This photo received an 8.
Yay.
Very close. One more vote for a 9, you would have had it. This is a beautiful photo. Thank you for sharing. If I can move.
So,
my mouse, all right.
Photos need to receive a 9 or a 10, is that right?
8, 9, 10 gets published.
Okay.
Fly- Flying high.
Wow.
Speaking of skateboarders, right?
To capture that like that, it's amazing.
Young one.
Yeah.
I like the clarity on, a moving object. It's often hard to get a very clear image on that. So excellent there.
Gotta tell you, that kid was something like 8 or 9 years old, and he was one of the best there.
By far.
Yeah, they get some like even 3-year-olds. They're amazing.
Yeah, they haven't learned fear yet.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry about that.
The
I'm
concentration.
glad
of
he's
the
wearing
eyes is-
protection.
Yeah, I noticed that when we were there.
He never fell. He never
Is he kinda
fell.
young for wearing protection?
Oh.
The concentration in the eyes are really good too.
Yeah.
Well, you can see he's not showing any fear.
Yeah, just
I love
focus.
that the emotion was captured at this very
Yeah.
moment. It's a
Fun,
bonus.
she's saying.
Innocent.
The socks are interesting.
I think.
Yeah,
He's got
I think
a
those are
skull-
self-designed.
Yeah, a skull on one leg, his left leg, and on his right leg, I don't know what you call
We
that.
used to draw on our Levi's jeans, so that's maybe similar.
Cat.
Does that say Grizzly on the cap? Is that a manufacturer of something?
Looks like.
Uh,
On a hard
Yeah, product placement.
Yeah.
Grizzly.
Yeah, change
Like I said, I'm glad he's wearing protection. I roller skated last year right before the pandemic and I broke my arm.
Ooh.
This is my shot. I had the camera on 50 frames a second.
Okay, that's helpful.
Yeah,
50 frames a second.
yes.
Cool.
That's cheating.
So what frame is it?
Whoever said that, you got my vote.
Safe to come in? I'm in a
I say
meeting right now. Safe to come in? I'd love to see you.
All votes are in.
Thank you for calling out.
This received a 9.
Thank you. You're such a doll,
A solid
Woo!
for sure. Thank you.
whose
Bye.
was this? Did they say?
It's me, Terry.
Terry.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Sorry about
Very
that.
nice.
That was my doctor.
Terry, was that a boy or a girl?
This is a boy. I thought it was a girl too, and
It was
But
hard to
anyway.
tell.
yeah.
Oh, by the way, this is frames and reflections.
Oh,
Wow.
that is so cool.
I recognize somebody. I see the photographer. It's a self-portrait.
Oh.
The selfie, who knew, right?
Yeah.
It's an ad for Versace's talking about product placement.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be turning that in real quick.
I like that there's a reflection at the top and the letters are reversed. At the
Yeah.
bottom, there's Versace. There's 3 different pairs of legs.
Yeah. It's
This goes
perfectly,
on and on. This is just beautiful.
perfectly framed.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's a composite, and I don't even know if you did any compositing.
No,
I think
no,
no.
no, it's not a composite. This is as it was. I enhanced it a little bit to be able to see the reflections better, but
Yeah, but I mean, it's like all there, and
Yeah,
you didn't have to do anything with it. That's great.
In terms of photography, this is a composite, but it wasn't composited.
okay.
Yeah.
Touche.
And so, what glasses did you leave with, actually? Model 1, 2, or 3?
3, yeah. No.
This is a fun picture.
Yes.
Lots of fun.
And I guess someone that woman up in the front with the yellow cloth, I guess she's actually cleaning something.
Yeah, she was cleaning the cases, dusting them.
Okay.
This should be sold back to that store for advertising.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
This is, yeah.
That was in 2016. Maybe I will go back. I don't know. If, that would be interesting if they're still there, particularly now. So
That woman's hair gives that the model like a mustache.
Yeah.
An unintentional
interesting
mustache.
take
Who
on
knew?
it. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, it certainly does. And a
a
beard.
head in the mouth.
Oh,
It's like a cat beard when people were doing those photos.
Yeah.
Somebody hasn't voted.
Oh, that would be me. I don't think I should vote on my own picture.
Sure you
Certainly should. Just don't vote for the highest one because that'll just, screw up.
I was gonna say you should give yourself a 10.
No, I don't think I'll get it.
Oh, no, if you do that, it may be the only 10. So you go with the flow. You evaluate yourself as responsibly as you would evaluate somebody else.
Please vote responsibly.
I'm going to end the polling.
Particularly when
Tell
driving.
Everybody that this one received a 9.
Yay.
Hey.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
And our next photo.
Golden Pavilion.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Where's that? Oh, how come I'm not there?
Been there, done
12,
that.
12 or 14 karat.
Oh, man.
Where is this?
Roof done that way. That's awesome.
Isn't it in Kyoto?
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
definitely in Kyoto.
I'm really liking this. Was this a cropped photo?
No,
Has anything been done besides coming out of the camera?
no, I don't think so.
Post-processing? Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
This is out of camera. These are beautiful colors. And
It was only done, it was done with thank you. was done with the Sony. Well, it's like that. It's spellbinding. It was raining at the time, as you can see. It was done with a Sony compact camera version. I think at the time version 2.
Yeah.
Version 3.
The rain really has done wonders to the reflection of the gold in the water, and the white curtains in the water look almost ghostly. I like that. I would make one recommendation.
Okay.
It's just my vision. I would straighten the horizon a tiny bit. And when I speak of horizon, I speak of this becoming the horizon right here. I feel that it's going just
That might make it crooked, though.
I feel that it's a tiny downhill compared to here. That's just my opinion, and I don't say it needs to be done.
If you look at the sides of the building, they look like they're supposed to be.
And I'm
You have
also,
to look at the up and down.
and I'm also thankful here to whatever your point of view was, whether this was a conscious calculation, but to have this tip top of the roof in the trees, marvelous, very well done.
I think the bottom floor is also really inviting to me. I almost want to zoom in on that. That looks interesting. You know, it's darker and
Very nice.
Yeah.
I like these. Aren't those like juniper trees? Is that what you call them? On the sides there? I mean, just like when you have those tiny little trees.
cypress.
Okay.
Cypress trees.
Japanese cypress.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'm going to end the polling. I'm going to share the results. There's a solid picture receiving a 7 from our membership. I'm going to stop sharing. That scored a 7.
My
Hummingbird
favorite.
lunchtime.
Wow.
It looks
I
like a
always
snack.
like hummingbirds.
The only thing I would do is take down the highlights on the flowers above because it's drawing my eye a little bit away from it, or add a vignette, and that would kind of darken the edges.
I like that I'm seeing the drops of water coming from that plant, from that flower.
Yeah.
That eye is so incredibly sharp as the beak and everything.
And the little feet.
The feet.
Those little tiny little feet.
I love the feet. I'd crop it a little differently. I'd lose a lot of that plant, the flower, I'm sorry. I would lose all the yellow in the top here. That's just my opinion. I would crop it.
The bird has to be going to a flower,
Yes.
in my opinion. It's a hummingbird.
But you could take out a little bit of that corner.
That way the bird's the focus.
Something like that. Yeah.
Little more flower, but that's the right idea.
Never gonna happen, I can tell you now.
No?
Well,
No.
I was just treating my backyard chicken's foot because it's got, you know, some kind of injury, and I'm looking at these tiny feet and thinking, I don't think so. But I do love hummingbirds overall.
One more voter, please. You can vote for your own photo. I'm ending the polling and sharing the results. Makes it to the newsletter. You received an 8.
Well, thank you. You seem very impressed, Jay.
I'd crop it differently, but that's me. I like your photo. I was there when you took it, you lucky dog.
Yeah, you know what? I was taking a picture of the flower. And that damn bird just got in my way. I got about 8 or 9 pictures of it.
Where did you take it, Helene?
Descanso.
Okay. Look at this one.
Oh, just dandy. Cute.
I like the muted background, the yellow and the green.
I like this. This is just my opinion. I always like to see some activity going on in a flower, like a bee or a bug or spider or moisture. I mean, it's pretty that I'm not going over the top on it. Come on, somebody, say something.
I'm seeing that there's a directional thing here.
I see that.
within,
Yeah.
within the dandelion, and I think better advantage could have been taken of that. Two ways: point of view at the time of taking the photo, if you noticed it, or in post to make them more prominent as they are. That's my opinion. Something to bring me more to the center when I'm viewing it.
You know, you might crop just for the dandelion. Get rid of the sides and go right in a square format.
Oh, I like that.
And then come in a lot more.
How much more?
So you don't see the background. That's something like that, right in the middle.
You just get the texture alone, yeah.
That's the texture of the leaves, of the petals.
You're voting
Yeah, you
on.
can make a black. You can make a black and white too.
Jay,
We are
we didn't vote
we are
yet.
voting on this.
I didn't get to vote.
We didn't
Okay,
vote
we didn't
yet.
vote.
We are.
This is an
voting-
older vote.
Why aren't you listening to me? We are voting on this. This
Okay.
picture the way it is.
Okay, now, yeah.
Of course we are.
I'm going to end the polling at this time. Sharing the results.
Ooh.
It's a 7 because that's the way VPC scores when there's a tie.
Okay.
Just received a 7. I'm stopping the share. That's an interesting split though, a 7 or a 5. It's an interesting split, just an observation. You either liked it or you didn't.
Oh, Carlsbad?
Am I supposed to say the name? You're supposed to tell me. Leader of the Orcs.
Wow.
Somebody has watched Lord of the Rings, right?
Just once, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, my only
I've only read the book 8 times.
My only problem with the photo is I'm not a Lord of the Rings fan. I don't even know what it is.
So right, so you just have to appreciate what you
Yeah.
think it is.
Yeah.
Like a stalactite.
Yep, stalactites, stalagmites, and Carlsbad caverns. And I think that's just inside of Texas.
But I see eyes and I see
Yeah.
teeth.
Yeah.
Don't put your finger near its mouth.
I see it needs a toothbrush.
Yes, he does.
Or pasta.
Or dental floss.
What's interesting is it's kind of difficult to take. This would be like a low light picture because inside the caverns, it's kind of hard to get some of those images.
Yeah, I'm sure I had very high ISO, and I lost a lot of them just because I didn't have enough oomph.
You have to wait a year to resubmit this. You can't use it for next month's low light.
That's not a flash shot.
No. Mm-mm.
Oh, wow.
Reverse it and turn it upside down and then
No one will ever know, huh?
Most amazing caverns I've ever.
I have everybody's vote. I'm going to share the results. This received a 7.
Oh, 7. I feel like Jay did last time.
And welcome to the club. I'm going to
Well,
stop.
and don't forget when Jay's picture's up there, it's got to get a 10 or we won't hear the end of it.
I know.
Is that how this goes? Oh, wow.
Exactly.
Life in another culture. Ew.
Ooh.
Yuck, yuck, yuck.
That's some culture I'm used
Didn't
to.
I see him with Blue Man?
yeah, Blue Man Group, yeah.
This is like interesting. Just the way the picture is. It looks like his leg's not attached right.
What's the
Yeah.
history behind this image?
Is this in Varanasi?
No, it's not, but it is in India.
Yeah.
Weird.
Got his
Religious
leg.
man.
I bet you this person is like a shaman or something like that.
Yep.
That's
He's a holy man.
'Cause it's not like you would go out and dress like this every day, right? Or maybe, I don't know, maybe you guys would. I mean, I'm not sure.
Okay, no.
It's a rough group.
Not here, no.
In the backyard.
I like him. I
Yeah,
like
but
him to
that's
do-
what makes this picture so great is everyone's reaction is so visceral. Ew, ew, ew.
I love it in
That-
the
that-
way. It's great that his head was forward enough for the light to catch it.
Right.
You can see just like the outskirts of the nose there, and that red thing in his hair or on his face, and it's just a great picture.
I
I
like
saw him on Van Nuys Boulevard.
What is he? What is he doing? I like the way he's
he's rolling a cigar or a joint.
doing.
I'm gonna be
Looks like he has color on his fingernails too.
Yeah.
be the nitpicky guy here.
He's
who-
actually holding a pair of glasses that somebody had donated to him.
Oh, nice.
Yes, yes.
This guy is probably a revered individual. You know, everybody's like, oh man, let's talk to this guy because he has all the answers.
I like the frame around him. It says a lot
That's
about
right.
the story, about the picture,
Yeah.
besides him being so colorful.
Well, you guys were quick. One more vote. I'm sharing the results. Somebody got an 8.
Uh-huh.
This photo received an 8.
Whoever voted that 10 should have voted a 9.
Exactly. So if you're voting for your own photo, keep that in mind. What happens with the way the polling works? You don't want to skew it by giving yourself a 10 when it is going to get a 9. And 10 is really, really, really stellar. And if I may make one comment I didn't during the showing of this photo, the big toe, if that wasn't cut off, that would be the difference between a 9 and a 10. The big toe is it can't be cut off for a 10. Just sharing.
Wait, are you saying because his toes cut off, it wouldn't be he's not getting a 10?
Not from me, he wouldn't. Not from any
Yeah, but
judge,
that's
you know.
The professional judges would, yeah, they would say.
Oh,
For
I
editorial
see what you're saying.
page or-
Definitely,
Yeah,
definitely a high rated photo deserving of a 9, but because the toes cut off, unless his
gotcha.
toe was cut off with a machete, the toes cut off in this photograph, it's not deserving of a 10. It's just that way.
Gotcha.
Just
I
sharing.
understand. I got you. Yeah, I got it. I got it.
Toes are cut off. I'm sorry.
Oh, nice.
Lotus flowers.
Wow.
Wondering whose picture it
Wonder who
is.
shot this.
Yeah, whose picture is this?
This is Ellen's.
The one thing
Oh.
I think on this one is that what's it called?
Vignette.
Vignette's a little strong.
The vignette's strong in which way, Terry? Is it because it's not vignetted on the sides?
No,
Or-
it's almost black on the sides. I would have liked to see it
No,
a little more graduated.
There's no vignette here.
No, but
No,
there's
Very
there's-
dark here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
usually that's the vignettes are usually in the corner, but I'm just saying I think that's a little over vignetted to my view.
But that could be the genre, the style.
Yeah, oh yeah.
What I like is that you can see the detail in the petals, and that there's the rose colored one, and the white it's not blown out too badly. You know, it's
I like what you're saying. I like the pictures that I see here. I think it's two photos. I think that the pink flower stands on its own and the white flower stands on its own. A little fancy cropping could make two photos out of this.
But the rose photo,
I enjoy the depth of field here created by the tall one, the smaller one. This is beautiful by itself right here. Without a vignette, I could see a cropping occur here. And this flower by itself stands brilliantly by itself, no pun intended. I like
but Jay, that rose photo adds a good contrast to the white flowers.
Yeah.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I'm just spewing. I want people to hear something.
You may spew. I'm sorry.
If it was mine, I would get rid of a little bit on the right, that leaf.
That big leaf.
Yeah, I would, crop it so that was kind of off.
But if you do, you'll cut into it. It's right at the edge, right.
Yeah, but it's blurred and it's nothing. What I would do is slide the whole picture over and add a little bit to the left side.
One more vote.
But I really love those flowers.
I'm ending the poll.
It's good.
Very nice.
I'm ending the poll. Boy, that last vote got in just in time. I'm sharing the results. This received an 8, a very strong 8.
Yeah.
A very strong 8.
Yeah, good.
This process of polling and the critique, wow, I'm so grateful. I think it's very helpful.
Not critique, praise.
Okay.
Okay.
Methuselah, are you listening? Methuselah, 4850 years, 4,850 years, period.
I'm going to speak first. What I love about this photo is the contrast between nature and the little man or woman. I just love the contrast.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I guess in 4,000 years, I'll be that tall.
Sure.
You shrink with age.
Is this
Yeah.
around Death Valley?
Gee,
White
that's no
Mountain.
one, that's my wife's.
That's up in the White Mountains.
The White Mountains?
Yeah,
Where's that?
east of Bishop and a little south of
Oh,
Bishop.
yeah, okay. Because I thought I saw this.
It's a really windy road getting up there.
Yeah.
The
I think I heard this tree was the pyramids were already 300 years old, and this tree was still just,
Wow. That puts it in perspective, huh?
Yeah.
So the alien ship dropped the seed too
They did. I saw them, but then I went away.
from another planet.
You know what's great is the size of the person and so you have the different sizes.
The contrast, and also there's a contrast in hot and cold. I don't know if anyone else sees it, but here's your cold.
Cold,
hot. And hot is emphasized by the red sweater and the texture here, the texture of the prairie. Where's the little house?
Well, you got to find Michael Landon first.
There was no wood to build it.
Too late now.
Bonanza.
Dun, 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 dun. I like also the contrast of the spiky mountains in the back, with the soft landscape.
Oh, yeah.
The snow.
Is that Mount Whitney in the background?
No.
Or
No,
Little
but it
too
is
north,
it's
little
below,
too north for Whitney.
Two more
Yeah.
votes.
right, Whitney would be below it, or
Yeah.
more to the left.
Well, that is the Sierras.
Eastern side.
Yeah.
Let people into the waiting room. Somebody's not doing their job.
Oh, boy.
Oh my goodness. I had to get a text to do that. I hate the waiting
Takes
room.
a village.
I hate the waiting room. Welcome, you guys. Sorry we kept you waiting, but that's what the waiting room is for, to wait. Was the elevator music good, of your liking? You can complain to management, and we'll look at that
I'm fired now.
and reevaluate.
At least you should have had some popcorn.
The polling
It
is
worked,
now,
Bill. It worked.
and I'm sharing the results. And this has received an 8.
Mhm.
Welcome,
Nice job.
Claire. Okay, Elaine's waiting for me.
Pfeiffer Beach, 10 stop.
Pfeiffer.
Very
Oh,
nice.
see, I want to be there.
Yeah, this is nice.
Where is
Oh,
Pfeiffer?
man.
Is this the big stopper filter?
Maker is not here tonight. I will tell you that I don't know if, I can't tell you right now, but once the voting's done, I will tell you how long the exposure was.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
That sure looks like a big stopper though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does anybody know where Pfeiffer Beach is?
Yeah.
Yes.
What is a big
Big
stopper, if you don't mind?
The big stopper is a 10 stop filter that you can, that allows you to take long exposures without blowing things out.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's interesting. It's a very interesting picture.
It's about halfway between San Simeon and
It's right across
roughly
from Big
Carmel.
Sur.
And where? I'm sorry.
Isn't that like near Hearst Castle? Like right,
Further
about
right
north
halfway
by Big Sur.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Someone's in the waiting room?
Wow. I mean, I love that. I want to be right on that rock right there and just, standing there.
Well, I
Except
tell
the
you,
water
I'm
will have
freezing right
different
now
look.
in my house. So that makes me even colder.
Well, in the black and white, the textures are amazing like that.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is everything is dark except for the one rock that has the moss on it. And, so that's a nice little contrast. It's a big, heavy, dark rock and the little rock that has the light on it.
And the cloud, the sky has leading lines toward the big rock.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Please put in your votes and I will share with you the information I know about the photo based on its meta tag.
And I wonder, is that just natural, like low-lying fog, or is that
That's
just
32. I
the
should-
waves?
29 voters.
That's water.
That's just the water over an extended exposure. Okay.
Yes, when you use the filter, neutral density filter, you can create those types of effects.
That's
In the polling and share the results.
Looks like about a 30-second exposure.
Wrong. It is a 68-second exposure.
Wow.
I'm trying to find out how to get information here. It was taken with a Nikon D80.
Yeah.
Wow.
Where'd f-stop?
It says F.
22.
Okay.
F22.
ISO 100 with an exposure bias of 1/3 stop down in 68 seconds. This is a very long exposure with a 10mm lens. And nobody said anything about the left side feeling cut off. That was my feeling. I'm just,
Fine.
it works.
It doesn't feel like it to me.
Okay, I'm just voicing my opinion. I didn't voice it before.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Did I stop to share results yet?
Yes.
So it received a 9. Beautiful photo in black and white here. This almost looks like a mist, a fog. I like it. I like it.
That's what I was asking. Yeah.
On to the next one here.
Pollinator.
Oh,
You have to use the Arnold Schwarzenegger voice though. Pollinator.
I think she has your job, Helene.
Okay.
I don't think Elaine's too upset about that. I don't think Elaine's too upset about that.
That backfired on me. Okay, that backfired on me majorly. I'm gonna have to take her out to the garden.
See
She's
how that
already
works?
left the room, Jay.
Did she really leave the room?
Well, she's
Elaine,
not
did you leave
present.
the room? Well, I do know she has a new bidet.
Elaine has left the building.
You've seen a picture of that, Jay?
Well, there's your bird in that flower that you were referring to earlier.
Ouch, ow, 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 ow.
I like the
Well, you can see more wing in this and more of the texture of the bird itself too.
yeah, that fluorescence like look. I like that.
Yeah.
Where is the focus in this picture?
Bird.
Wherever you
Is
want
it-
it to be.
On the eye.
No, but is
Right
it
on
on
the
the
eye.
bird or is the leaf
On the
more?
head, on the eye.
On the
Right on the
eye.
eye.
All right,
I would have
head.
made it a tall picture.
I see it. Thank you.
I
That's
really
my
enjoy,
opinion.
enjoy the contrast between the green and the orange. It goes
Yeah.
so together. But the subject is the bird.
Yeah, I would have cut some of the left off, made it a taller picture. But then,
You funny lady. You funny.
well,
You funny lady.
but then some people wanted my picture made square, and that will never happen.
Sorry.
I will cut off the left. I mean, hell, it's my picture. I can cut off the left if I want to.
Yep. Yep.
Oh man,
yep,
I should have
yep.
given you a higher score.
Yeah, that's better.
Helene is always right, but she's wrong about her photo.
Nope. And I
Yeah.
gotta tell you, if you remember, someone said that it should be the white, there was too much white. You wouldn't believe how white the picture was. I sat there painting every stem, every, what do you call it, branch.
This received an 8. Can everyone see that? This received an 8.
Yes.
I think it's a 7.
I saw a
It's my
7 there.
picture. I want it in the newsletter.
I
Oh.
saw a 7.
Yes, it's eight.
You can put any
Seven.
picture you want in the newsletter.
It's
That's
being
true, I
recorded.
could.
It's a 7.
The 7.
Ooh.
Oh, that's
Nice.
really interesting.
Nice.
Oh.
You got it at the right time of day.
Oh, I can't.
I
say
want to
that.
know where is it?
Puglia.
No.
No, it's not that.
Venice
Okay.
Beach.
Pollinator.
This is Los Angeles.
Puglia.
Obviously.
Puglia.
Where is it?
Puglia.
Yeah, the sun's poking
Really,
right,
right?
through the clouds. They caught it right at the opportune time.
It
So
really
where
looks
is it?
good.
Italy?
Really,
Puglia, that's
Italy?
where it
Is
is.
it Italy?
I love the green umbrella.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
No, it's not.
That's me getting my margarita right about there.
No, it's not there. It's
No,
not
it's
Sangria. It's Italy.
Oh,
And this
Oh,
is
true.
and this is me here protecting myself from the sun and using that little thing that beep 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 when you find jewelry.
Ah, yes, yes, or pennies.
We have one of those?
I think that is such a great contrast in colors. It goes from dark to light, back to the dark
Mm.
clouds. It's really great.
The yellow and the blues.
Water.
Yeah.
It's just a perfect moment. A perfect moment.
I'm just frustrated I didn't get invited, you know.
Yeah.
It's not very fair.
Photograph
Well,
has
that's one of Jay's walks in a couple of months. So get ready.
Get ready.
Yeah,
Save
as soon
up
as
my penny.
everyone's had their second vaccination or what have you, we're going to.
Jay's paying too, which is really amazing.
Yeah, it's a free club. I can pay.
I love that. I'm
Has this
signing
been
up definitely.
enhanced? Has this photograph been enhanced?
The maker is not here. It's his son's wedding anniversary, and he wasn't supposed to be with him, but he is.
Yeah, because it looks like there's a lot of things going on in here.
It looks like it was
Just
perfect.
be natural.
I can guarantee you it is enhanced, and there's.
It is enhanced?
I
Yeah.
guarantee you that, and there's no reason why it shouldn't be.
Is it
And-
Leo's?
And I'm with AI now in Photoshop. For all I know, those aren't the clouds that were there that day, but I'm loving the photo. So I'm
So
scoring.
nice shot.
That pop. It's got snap.
Yes.
If I saw this across the room, I'd walk up to take a closer look.
I'll say.
Take your shoes off and go in the
Well,
water. Come
Yay, good.
Maker of the photo received.
Oh, the, yeah,
Oh.
okay, yeah. I'm sure you'll be able to.
Really surprised he
it
didn't watermark this one. He watermarks all of his photos.
It is Leo.
Yep.
It's gorgeous.
Good job, Leonid.
Raven.
Oh, wow.
Coming or going?
I'm this.
on. Is it Tweety Bird?
You sure that bird wasn't photoshopped in there?
Not Photoshop.
Whoever shot this should take a little time and either remove the sensor dust or clean their sensor, because there's a lot of little sensor dust in there.
Did you just sneeze on your monitor? I don't see it. Where is it?
Where's sensor?
I don't see it.
Where is it?
I don't see any sensor stuff.
There's a couple in the clouds. There's one just to the right of the Raven.
Yes, I see him. Yeah.
It's my camera. It does need a cleaning.
Yeah.
Actually, I wish that the person who edited that last photo edited this one.
Okay. No, I'm not criticizing the fact that they're there. I'm just commenting that you need your sensor cleaned.
I know.
What's all the buildings in the background?
I took this last week. This is I live in San Francisco. This is Fort Funston. So that's just kind of a housing tract,
Oh,
South San Francisco sort of.
I like that the Raven at first glance is not coming or going. That was my first impression.
Why don't you watch it there?
Well, the
Darlene,
bird flying
just
gives you,
close the
yeah,
browser.
direction, but you just don't know
When
which.
you close the browser, you will automatically be logged out.
Plus the bird is backing up.
Tignan mo, ah.
Yeah.
Okay, watch this, huh?
Helicopter.
That would be a
Look at
hummingbird
the safari.
Style.
The Ravens don't follow direction very well. I'll say that.
All I gotta say is nevermore.
Oh.
Who said that? Jeff?
Edgar Allan Poe.
Oh,
Poe.
oh.
Oh,
I'm just a po' boy, nobody
You
loves me.
love me.
Oh, boy.
I used to
Now
hang
it's time
out
for
at
the
post-
poll.
Sorry.
I want to know where you used to hang out.
Hello, Noel.
Poe's Cottage in the Bronx.
I have my votes in now.
I was thinking more like the Stardust.
I wasn't out here then.
No one told me I'm falling off the edge of the screen. Move my sunglassed webcam a little bit. This received an 8. Now our next photo.
Sailing the British
Jay's-
Virgin
oh.
Isles. Who's talking when I was supposed to be talking? Come on. Sailing the British Virgin Isles.
Someone in the waiting room.
Ooh, sailboat.
Deanna, was that you?
Make a sound.
No one tell anybody.
I hope he
Look
wasn't-
at these colors. Oh, and the lighting on all of, oh, man.
Do you think it needs cropping? I don't know. It's really a wonderful picture, but do you think it needs cropping?
I don't.
I don't. I think that it's not, everything around it gives to the yacht.
I think it needs a mat and a frame and a place on my wall.
Right?
Yeah.
Very pretty.
There was another boat on the right side that was real close to it, and that's why this was all that was left.
This is beautiful.
No, you cropped it well because, I mean, you know, it's just the boat. It's a single subject, and then the muted blue and the pink, it's just really, wow.
Yeah, the pink. I didn't even notice that. I couldn't put my finger on it. There's pink. It's beautiful.
And
And a
lovely.
little red flag on the sailboat. That little red flag. That's
I think it's a lovely picture. The
That's
way,
red.
yeah.
And the boat is very, you can see the detail on it too. So that, you know, it pops it out a little bit more.
You could try using the brush in Lightroom and whiten the hull and the mass a little tiny bit to give them a bit more
punch.
direct appeal.
Yeah.
Shiny boat.
If you whiten the mask too much, you're going to lose them in the clouds.
Yeah.
Mm.
Lloyd, I'm concerned. How long were you in the waiting room?
A minute, maybe.
Okay. Sorry for that.
No, it's okay.
Does this have the sit right back in you here or tail in the background?
It's a 3-hour tour.
Yeah.
It was a week tour. You should have
Nice.
You should
I'm
have
going
seen.
to end the polling, and I'm going to share the results.
Oh, nice.
It received a 7 and an 8. We give it 8. Nicely done. I'm going to stop the share. And our next photo is
Small steps lead to a giant leap.
Oh, wow.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Oh, fabulous. Oh my gosh.
Was this photo staged or just a caught moment?
You can't know that yet. Come on, we got to talk about it first.
Down there to catch
No,
them.
because either way, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
That's like a nice golden hour photo too.
Nice composite.
You think so?
That's either a
No,
professional dancer or a professional gymnast.
Right.
Toes pointed straight out like that.
Yeah.
That's how I get out of bed every morning.
In your dreams.
I heard.
So
that.
are we scoring her or the picture?
I'll give her a 9-7.
So that isn't Jay? That isn't a picture of Jay out there on the beach?
That's a beautiful
Too much
picture.
hair. Too much hair. It's not Jay.
Oh boy.
Where the dancer is perfect. She is on a lighter background and she's standing out.
Good
Can see her-
contrast, yeah.
Well, I think it's an awesome picture, but if it was me, I would have moved the picture up and just added some fake bottom to it. You know, you can do that with Photoshop, but that's what I would do, just me.
Looks like a real bottom to me.
But you had more
I'm
sand.
saying I would adjust it with Photoshop to make her a little bit higher in the picture without getting rid of her placement over the water. and, just.
I see what you
extend
mean.
the ground, the sand and the rock.
Well, there's a,
A little more
there's a lot of
foreground.
layers to the, there's a lot of layers to the picture for me anyway. You got the sand, you got her, you got the rock, you got the horizon, you got the clouds.
We're going to share these results. It's all over the place, and it received a 7. So if you're voting for your own photo, keep this in mind, that the way the poll works, you gotta consider what other people are going to vote and take a risk with a lower score than the higher one.
Or not.
Nicely done.
Or not.
Nicely done.
Jay, it looks like the person Leonid's S21 has his hand raised or something.
Oh, wow, I like this.
Smile.
Yeah, we can
Really?
wait a moment here and let's hear what Leo has to say.
A lot of clarity to this.
Leo, unmute yourself. Press your space bar. Can't hear you, Leo.
I don't know if he can undo it. Anyway, that's a really nice.
There we go.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I don't know how, I couldn't get this with my phone, and finally I get in.
Good to have you here.
Yes, welcome.
Thank you.
This in Barango Springs.
Yeah, Anza Barango, or yeah.
Borrego.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Borrego, yeah, there you go.
Barango without the N, right?
It's not Baracha?
I think it's taken from a really good
Barango
spot,
Springs.
good composition. I want
So
to.
is this the wildlife? Is this the wildlife you see in there?
Yeah.
Wow.
There's a lot of wonderful sculptures down there similarly. Oh my gosh, yeah. But I like because of the blue skies and the rust on top of it, so that's really nice.
Love that, Russ.
How big is this sculpture?
They're pretty tall. I mean, it's not my picture, but I'm just remembering. They're about 10 feet, I guess.
I would say between 8 and 10 feet.
That's big.
Could a small child stand in that mouth?
I've tried to
without
put
a certain
my
amount of
child in
discomfort.
there.
Maybe your hand.
You must like your child.
He's got good dental plan, I guess.
You have this on the front yard, you have no more solicitors.
Yeah.
Get them off my phone.
UPS just put my package in the mouth.
I think it's too big for my backyard.
I'm looking for the storytelling here.
What's the story? It's smiling.
You're on candid camera.
One more vote, please. There we go. I'm ending the polling. I'm sharing the results. We have a strong 7.
But he's gonna own it.
Standing tall, tulip.
Is that the right one, Helene?
Well, that's the next picture.
Okay, I thought I advanced twice.
I think it's beautiful. I was in Amsterdam, and I was never able to get a photo that looked like this.
Wow, look at that. The lights streaming through just wonderfully. There's detail up in the flower, and the strong stem just really speaks a lot.
3, 2, 3, 2, 1. Focus good in the background.
Yeah.
The book is amazing. The colors,
Makes you want
so good to each other. The colors are so good to each other.
Yeah.
Even the shades of red within the main subject. It's just, there's no guessing what the subject of this photo is.
It would be nice to have one of those 6-inch diffusers to soften the light on the main subject and,
I don't know if
and
6
get
inches is
the
enough.
blown out part.
No.
I
Leave
think
it
it's
alone. Leave it alone.
leave it alone. It's like really lovely the way it is.
I
I
just
like
have a
it hanging in
question
my
about
house.
Lovely,
the
just
two
lovely.
They look just like that at Descanso Gardens. I was there today.
Well, I just want
Oh.
to say that it's
But-
rare,
Oh, God, they're
unless you plant them that way, that you have a red tulip like that amongst the pinks and yellow tulips. So I'm curious, is it a composition or not? Just throwing it out there.
Okay, don't answer, please, the maker, please don't answer until we voted, because I don't want your answer to influence the voting.
The background reminds me of rainbow sherbet.
Yes.
And now I want some.
My hummingbird,
Ripty's rainbow sherbet.
my hummingbird will not be in the same newsletter as this flower. That just saddens me. Nobody had any trouble voting. A solid 9.
What? I mean, congratulations. I wish I had got an 8 at least.
I went 10.
Well, how do you really feel though?
And it is not my fault, Jay.
Your fault about what? Sorry, I missed that. I'm paying too close attention to what I'm doing.
So is this a composition or not?
What do you mean?
Exactly a competition.
Will the maker
No,
of the photo tell us if it's
It's not, it's not a composition.
Okay.
Taken at Descanso Gardens.
There you go.
Probably a 100-400 lens. That's probably almost 400 millimeters.
Okay.
Do
Is
you
that
mean?
what, is that what I shot at?
275. 275, which is times 1.5. Yeah, you're over 400 in 35 millimeter equivalent.
But I'm using a full frame camera.
Yeah, okay, then you are 275 millimeter.
Yeah, yeah.
I should have paid attention to the model.
Could you tell me what composition means?
Oh, man.
Composite.
Composite,
That's
okay.
interesting.
The
Where's this?
Kelpies,
Woo woo.
the Kelpies. I don't know what a Kelpie is, but it's a cool picture.
Where is this taken?
Kelpie sounds.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Where is it?
Yeah.
Talk
Yeah.
about the
We'll
picture.
find out. We'll find out when the maker's ready to share that. I'm going to make the size a little smaller.
It's on the bottom, you guys.
Yeah, well, I just made it smaller. I have one comment or question to ask. Was it cropped?
No, actually, I don't think it was.
Jay, why do you say that? Because of that clipping at the back?
The clipping on the left.
Yeah,
Curious to me. It's curious to me.
Yeah.
I think I just didn't, like the big toe, I think I just didn't include it.
Yeah, but you know what I like? You know what I
that's
like?
exactly what I was thinking too.
You know what I like? That you included the stairs because these have a forward motion and you gave space within the framing for those to lead me to believe that they have some place to go. I'm talking about this area here, allowing these to go someplace. So I don't mind this that much. Helene can fix that for you, by the way.
Yep.
They look like the horse heads from Equus, the play.
I was thinking more The Godfather.
Oh,
Yikes.
oh.
Oh, no.
There's
I
no
don't
bed.
I don't want to go to bed thinking about that.
Something to consider would be to walk about 10 paces to the right and get a little separation between the left horse's nose and the right horse's neck.
Oh.
I see that. Yeah, yeah.
But they
Oh,
do,
wow, yeah.
it does stand out. I mean, you can definitely see they're separate.
And
Yeah,
then
you can. You
there's enough
definitely
time.
can, and it's even it's even better when you have just a little sliver of light going all the way down,
Yeah, yeah.
or it can be.
Where was this taken?
This is it's in Scotland, and I'm trying to remember the city, but it's just outside of Edinburgh.
Edinburgh.
And
Okay.
I invite you guys to read the story about the myth of the Kelpies. They come up and out of the water, and they pull you into the water. It's kind of like spooky.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was just reading that you can go inside it. What's inside?
Well, these are a metal structure, so that when you go inside, and it was raining a little bit, and oh my gosh, you can hear the rain hitting the metal, and it was musical, just ding 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 ding. It's just the structure from the inside, but you can see all the detail on the inside. It was pretty amazing to go on the inside, but these are amazing things. I like, for me, I thought it was important to put that person to see the scale.
Yep.
Yes, I
Yeah.
This,
was gonna say that, yeah.
I don't think it's ADA compliant, though. I don't see a ramp.
well, it's not in America, so yeah.
Yeah, it was a miracle you got sun in Scotland. It's always
True
rain.
that. True that.
But there is a,
How did they wear kilts in the olden days?
Comfortably.
Tightly as they
Very
can.
carefully.
There were fewer stairs in those days. One
This
more
is a great
voter,
place
please.
to visit, though.
Thank you. We're ending the poll. I'm sharing the results. 8. Truly solid.
Thank you.
8.
Next picture,
The next picture is coming right up.
Underworld.
Exactly. So I'm glad that you backed down. I didn't see
Underworld.
Looks like a glacier.
Last one was good.
I see it now. I see the underworld now. I didn't see it before.
Oh, yeah.
The maker is not here to talk about their photo.
I don't see my eye landing on anything.
I don't think with this particular title, he's asking you to look at any one thing. The whole thing is underground, underworld. These are all roots.
Oh,
These are all roots.
thank you.
You sure it's not ice?
I'm quite certain. I can't ask the maker, but
Wow.
I've been in a
Well,
hole.
I was thinking it could be ice, and then yet those are still roots.
This looks like concrete to me up here.
Okay.
It just does, and this looks like some sort of broken concrete there. I'm maybe being imaginative, but underworld leads me to believe that this is a gopher's point of view.
I think we don't need to know to understand the picture. It's just an abstract photo, and it's just to enjoy the
Thank you,
colors.
Nora. Thank you, Nora. Well stated. We'll see how it votes. I'm going to end the polling. It's a great picture, gaining a 5. This received a 5.
And the next picture is Wall of Sound.
Nice.
Yay!
Looks like Ron's house.
I'm going to decrease the size of this photo a tiny bit.
There you go.
Better.
Guitar Center?
No, it is Ron's
Like
house.
this, I would take a picture of these guitars in a second. I've done it a few times. I just like it. They're each one of them are
Wow.
different, but they're because they're all guitars, and I don't know. I just love it.
I really like that I'm led back and I'm led down slightly. I don't know why, but just down slightly.
The lens, was that a tilt shift swing?
That lime green guitar in the back is just awesome. If it weren't there, this picture would lose a lot of its impact. That lime green is fantastic. Good job, photographer.
Yeah.
The repeating patterns
Good.
are very nice. And each individual one is different. It's not just a row of the same guitar. You know, every one is different.
Even the bellies are different.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, I'm going to put this one up to a vote right now.
Very nice.
Very nice. Really nice.
I know a contest that might like this photo.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
And that starts on the 1st?
April 1st, and that's no joke. I have one more voter. I'm not waiting.
I don't know who the photographer is, but I'm curious. How did they carry the plane of sharpness?
Cheap blend.
Well, to tell you the truth, I have no idea. It was taken with my iPhone when I was at a shop in Austin, just walking up and down the.
That's it. I'm selling my camera. I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
hear you.
It was a candy store for musicians, and as you can tell, they had the most incredible variety of guitars. It just caught my eye, but I can't answer your question because I have no idea.
I can answer that. When you have a sensor that's as tinier than your fingernail, you're going to have a deep depth of field. That's the simplest answer.
I'm sorry.
There you go. Thanks, Noel.
That wasn't a criticism. That's just reality.
No, seriously, thank you. I hadn't. Thank you for answering. I had no idea. Appreciate it.
How can you make this happen with a DSLR?
What?
How can you achieve such focus with a DSLR?
You need a tilt shift would be able to swing the lens.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, you got to shoot this with like a 4x5.
That's partly the answer, and just a small aperture. But this shot is ideal for the phone because that depth of field can easily be gotten just by using a cell phone.
Any post-processing on this?
Focus stacking can do the same thing too.
Yes, focus stacking can do the same thing. That's correct. Yeah.
Sorry, could somebody
Just received a 9.
tell me if this is Austin, Texas?
Yeah, it's Austin, Texas.
I think I was
Downtown.
Yeah, big store, right?
Well, it's amazing.
I couldn't tell you. I don't remember, but it was it was right downtown.
Lynn, you're coming in very soft.
Okay, so we are ending our first round of photos on Wall of Sound. Thank you, Izzy. Great picture.
Nice
And
photo.
we are going to move
Thank you.
into the next section.
Are we doing the next section now?
I think so.
Jay, did this one, there was like an 8 or a 9. I think it got a 9, right?
We got a 9.
9.
May I query my membership? Lynn has a presentation to do tonight. We can let her do that now. It took us 1 hour and 20 minutes to get through 22 photos. We have 17 to go, where the speaker will go up to 3 minutes, but not to exceed 3 minutes, because I will put the hammer down. We just don't have the time. So would we like to hear from Lynn now, or should we see 17 photos and then finish our meeting with Lynn's?
I'd like to hear
I
Lynn.
prefer to hear Lynn now.
Well, I'm seeing Lynn saying no, so I'm gonna go along with Lynn.
Lynn, you feel that way?
Well, I just feel that my presentation can be speeded up or slowed down.
Okay, I have to go with my guest speaker, my keynote speaker. She needs a little more time, and she's making a valid point, and I'm ready to move on. Our first photo in the special topic will be presented in a moment. When you see your photo, you begin to speak. We want to hear about.
So am I not going to tell the name?
Yeah, you can. You can if you wish to, or the person who sees it. See, I'm trying to figure out who's here and who's not here, because we're not going to spend any time on photos that were submitted, but the maker is not here, because that defeats the purpose. However, we will vote on every single one. Okay? Let's move forward. The next photo is, and let's
Look
see
at
how this
her.
goes, Helene. Let's just see how it goes. Go ahead and announce it.
Look at her.
Maker?
Okay, I took this at the Promenade Street Shopping
One
Mall.
moment, one moment. Maker is
Oh.
Bill Robbins. Maker is Bill. Each maker will introduce themselves so that we can know who's talking, because it's hard to look at the gallery. Bill, please go ahead. Sorry for the interruption, but I'm going to make an interruption. It's going to be, someone that's friendly towards me.
Okay, the Promenade Street Shopping Mall, and this was in 2016. I was with the street photography group, and we all had more or less dispersed. And I saw this mural on the wall, and there wasn't a lot going on around there, so I thought I would camp there and wait for somebody to come by. And a couple of the images in the mural, they were looking down, and I thought, okay, I'll try and get a pedestrian right there. Well, this guy walks up and just stands right in front of the camera, intentionally. And I thought, that's sure, well, that's going to make a third layer. So when she came up walking, I moved over to the left really quick and took the shot before he realized I moved over. And I really like the way it came out. It's got a third layer, and I think that really increases the interest. And it's more than just the wall art with person photo as a result.
I like it, but I think it would have been nicer if you'd have photoshopped that cup out of her hand.
Yeah, that's true. But like I said, it's street photography. You kind of take some of the bad stuff with the good.
I don't mind.
But it works. It works. I like it.
I made it. Thank you. I made it black and white because it's not about color. It just seemed more to the point in black and white.
Yeah, I
love
think it
the
looks
black and white.
great in black
Love
and
the
white.
contrast.
What was used for post, if you don't mind my asking?
Oh boy, that was either Capture NX2, which is Nikon's product, or Capture One.
Okay, if I may be more clear for the next person to benefit, I meant more so what techniques were used in post-production. You converted to black and white in post?
Yes, I converted to black and white in post and crop.
Okay. Thank you, Bill.
Okay.
Great story, Bill.
Thank you.
I like that he got in the way and you made lemonade. A good cup of lemonade. That's what's in that cup.
Very profound.
I'm going to end the polling now. And I'm going to share the results. And this scored a 8.
Next picture is Escape from Whoville.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
That's not Escape from Whoville.
That is not?
Is it? No, it's not.
Oh, wait, sorry.
Yeah, really.
Sunflower and the butterfly.
Remember,
Sorry, my bad.
Helene made a mistake. Please mark your calendars, set an anniversary date, and send her a card next year, because it never happens. She's never wrong.
because I'm mommy.
That's what my mom used to say. I may not always be right, but I'm never wrong.
Yeah.
All right, so it's my photo. I'm Bob Sachs. Sunflower and the butterfly.
It worked,
The goal
Bob.
here, what?
It
Excuse me?
worked.
Oh, thank
Enjoy
you.
it.
The goal here was to shoot a sunflower. So I had to first figure out where to go shoot sunflowers. And I found this shot was taken at Underwood Farms, which is in Simi Valley. The butterfly was just an extra plus. Once I got to Underwood Farms, I found this, there were lots of sunflowers and there were just a lot of bees. And so I didn't really want a bee shot because I've got bee shots. And there were a few butterflies and I had to wait. So I decided to wait until a butterfly landed on the sunflower and then photograph them. Now, the problem here was these butterflies don't like to fly very, they don't like to stay around too long. And so when they land on a sunflower, for most of them, the wings were folded. But this is one shot I got where I got what I wanted, the butterfly's wings spread apart. Taken probably, I used a 24-105 lens. I shot this at 105 millimeters. ISO was 100. And let's see, some of the other things were I shot it, it's 400th of a second at 4.5. I had to shoot, I wanted a fast shot, didn't have a tripod. I had to open it at 4.5 because the camera I was using a Mark II, a 5D Mark II. It goes very grainy after about 400 ISO, I noticed. So I had to keep, so I wanted to keep it down. So I had to shoot it wide open pretty much. And I shot probably for about 2 or 3 hours. And finally, this is the shot I finally ended up with.
Well, I imagine you have.
How many shots did you have to take before you got the champagne shot?
Oh, I have probably about 30, 40 shots.
Bigger.
Did you go home with
that's
any sunflower seeds?
Excuse me?
Did you go home with any sunflower seeds?
No sunflower seeds. Used Photoshop, pulled out some of the colors, probably made it brighter, sharpened the butterfly with Nik software. And that's the photo I've got.
Would you do it that blue sky back there?
I probably, building up the contrast and the saturation, the sky went a little more blue than I might have liked, but that's what I have.
Bill, I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Did you use a reflector for this one? Because the sun is no. The sun is behind. Is the sun behind?
I did use the reflector and the sun is behind it, I believe, or off to the side.
Oh, okay. That's really nice.
Thank you.
Did you use a fill flash? Just
no filter other than the UV filter I keep on my lens.
Thank you, Bob.
No, thank you.
It's unique, really, to get
Is
that.
everybody getting an echo all of a sudden?
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Lots of echoes.
Couldn't be me.
Guys, I want to apologize, but I have to leave. I got up at 4 in the morning and I'm really tired.
Okay, you're going to get to see it on YouTube. This has been recorded.
Oh,
Great
that's
having you.
great.
Great having you.
Well, thank you for everything.
You're very welcome. Thank you for being you.
Bye.
Bob, is the close-up of it any good?
We received an 8. The score is an 8. I'm saying that for the YouTube watchers. Did I share the results already? I think I
No.
did.
No.
I didn't.
No.
I'm sharing the results for that photo.
Thank
We
you.
received an 8. I apologize. I got sidetracked.
Okay, the next picture. guess what it is? Escape from Whoville. Oh, haha.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, what's the title?
Kind of seedy.
Who's the owner?
Claire.
Yes. Can you speak about your photo, please?
Well, I'm into macro photography and I was playing with light. I can't tell you anything about it. I just shot it, took it, and prayed. That's all.
No, it can't be
I'm-
all. What kind of camera did you use?
I think I have a Nikon. I have it here. I've been taking chickens. That's my next thing. I think it's a Nikon. And I don't know the setting. I actually just found where the ISO is. And something else they were talking about before, but I really don't know. I really don't know anything about the settings.
I don't want to embarrass you, but it says Canon.
Oh, then I have a Canon, Nikon, Canon, whatever.
Just a close-up photo taken with a Canon EOS. Nice camera, that Rebel.
So yeah, I'm just trying to
handheld.
I don't remember if this one was handheld or not. No, I had quite a few of them where I held them up and I tried to make my husband blow on them, and but he wouldn't. So I can't remember exactly if this was handheld. This looks like it was, 'cause it looks like I don't have any other color in the background, but I had quite a few. And I was just trying to capture something like really small, like that little one starting to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I'm really like, I look at everybody's pictures and I'm so at the beginning stages of this, and I try to take what everybody says and try to find something, but just even learning to focus the camera. And so it gets like, if you enlarge it, you can see all the little details.
I know the
For me,
challenge of such a photo, and I think you did a fantastic job.
oh, thank you. I do believe I learned how to do vignette or something and change kind of mute out the background a little bit.
And you know what I learned recently? Those little things are called clocks.
What are they called?
Clocks, like a grandfather clock.
Oh,
They're called
okay.
clocks. And they sail, and that's how they repopulate. That's how they propagate. That's a
I have to tell you, you guys, I teach, so I'm doing this during my Zoom lunch. But
talk about food. When is break so I can go get some?
well, what's funny is next month I might put in a bobcat. I was zooming and I could see this bobcat leaping around my hillside in front of my house. So I yelled, "Recess is early!" and I ran away to go take its picture.
So that little clock is not added after it was leaving by itself.
That little, yeah, yes.
That's interesting.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, it was blowing away. I had a whole series of them. You know, it was like click, 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 click.
Ah, there you go.
What was the background?
I believe I was just holding it up either to the sky, and I think the sky was cloudy that day.
You received an 8 for this photo. That
you guys. Well, I
didn't
want
know
to
anything
thank you.
about.
I'm very embarrassed to even submit my photos with all that I see that you guys do.
Next month, you can't be embarrassed. You scored an 8. You get into the newsletter. I don't even get into the newsletter.
Well, thank you. And again, like, you know, it's embarrassing to submit because your photos you guys take are unbelievable.
This one is phenomenal. Do not be embarrassed.
Claire, you think by doing that, you're going to get higher scores from now on?
This is real good photo, Claire.
Out with the kids.
Thank you.
So this one is mine. I'm Deanna Warhay. I'm new to the club. And so I had the opportunity to go to Kenya, Africa. There was a World Quaker meeting. I'm a Quaker from Whittier. And so they selected me to go there. I was just a new person to the Quaker meeting as well. So I traveled about, well, I got to go on this trip just about a couple weeks after my brother passed away. He committed suicide. So I was pretty upset and I didn't know if I was going to go, but I figured, let me do closure. Let me go because I needed this trip. And so I traveled like 21 plus hours by myself. I had a lot of airport troubles. You know, I had stopped at different places and I almost missed my plane in a few places. And I arrived about 3 a.m. And when I got money out of the ATM there, somebody was trying to rob me. I had to kind of run back and forth and finally meet up with one of the officers there. And when I finally got in, it was around like in the morning. I really I had a spiritual experience that I could tell you about another time. But then towards the end of the conference, I got an opportunity to visit Amboseli National Park. And wow, I mean, what an incredible place to visit. They had all the, you know, the big 5 beasts there. They had, you know, the lions and not lions and tigers, oh my, but at least the lions and the elephants and hippos. And so these guys were just walking along, and I actually cropped this. And I love the little duck at the end. It's not very clear, but I love this little guy, you know, and mommy's out with these 3 little kids, and you know, I was just thinking about that. And so I used Photoshop. In Photoshop, there's a filter called oil painting, and I felt that using that helped the elephants like pop out, and it just warms my heart, this picture, you know, because everything came together. And you know, I felt there was a lot of closure in this, and you know, it was a necessary trip, and then these elephants just really helped me out. So I was so grateful to have taken this photo, and I like the way this photo came out, at least for me. And I've actually sold it.
Oh, cool.
That's what I was getting ready to suggest. This is
Diana,
something that I would buy and hang on the wall.
Diana, I'm sorry for your loss.
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, we are. Yeah. Yeah, see, you know your way around Photoshop.
I actually don't. I mean, I kind of just mess around, and sometimes I get something.
Yeah, you did good on this one, because I don't see any incursion into the hide of the elephants at all. It's almost like you cut them out and then dropped them back in.
It's really well done, Diana.
Mm-hmm.
Beautifully
Well,
done.
thank you.
And look at these 2 children here, with how in step they are. I mean, my goodness.
They were marching.
They are in step, and this one may be, you know, the run to the litter.
Yeah. I didn't realize. I didn't realize elephants had like 3 at a time.
They do adopt. They do adopt when there's a parental death. You know that?
Oh, interesting. Just
This
like
received a 9. A glorious 9.
Cool.
Well deserved. Everybody sees that, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So where's the
Thank you
dad?
ever so much. Where's the dad? Yeah, well,
He's
yeah.
out
Well,
flying
actually,
around.
he attacked us, so but that's another story. Oh, my gosh, look at
Picture
this
is
place.
Venice,
Hi, it's Ellen. This
Italy,
is
not
my
California.
picture. Water's
Not Venice Beach.
No, it's the other Venice.
Not the California Venice.
So we were on a trip through Italy, and Venice was our last stop. We were there 3 or 4 days. I don't remember. It rained a lot. And we had our last day. We wandered around. It was raining. The sun was starting to set, and the rain stopped. And we were on one of the bridges, and I actually initially was looking in the other direction, and I turn around and see this rainbow and these beautiful clouds. And I just shot and shot and shot until the sun went down, basically. And it was just amazing to stumble upon this on our last night. It was truly incredible. So it's one of my favorite pictures from the trip.
Lovely.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
I really like this a lot. Look at that rainbow there and the colors. The lighting is beautiful.
It might be fun to lighten the water just a tiny bit to give it a little distinction from the buildings and then the sky.
Yeah.
Just a maybe.
Yeah, that's something to certainly consider. You know, all that I did on this one was I warmed it a little and I brightened it a little. I really wanted the focus to be on the rainbow and the clouds and the light coming through.
Mhm.
It just struck me.
You achieved that.
Thank you.
I'm going to start the polling. Thank you, Ellen.
Thank you.
I think the only problem with it is it makes me yearn for traveling again.
I was just gonna
So-
say, I love that.
We're all in that boat. No pun
Right?
intended.
Yeah, which boat?
We're all not in that boat.
Not without a vaccination or.
Oh,
Look, the wife just asked me yesterday if I want to go to Ireland. I said, yeah, sure. It's a fully refundable ticket. Let's go.
Oh,
Oh.
When were you there?
3 or 4 years ago. I don't remember exactly when.
This photo received an 8.
Yeah, pretty solid picture.
Thank you.
next picture. For a better shave.
Shaving a haircut 2 bits.
I'd be glad when I
Thank
get
you.
a haircut. Right now, I'm just staying away from everything and everybody.
Are we talking about it?
Oh, yeah, you know, that's my father's old stuff. My brother and sister-in-law are into the antique collectible stuff. So when we were splitting things up, I had no problem them taking it. You know, you have your battles to fight. I wanted that telescope, but I needed the blanket and the toad more. So my brother got that, and they have shelves up high in the kitchen, especially where they put a lot of my mother's old collectible pans, roast pans and things. So yeah, it's got a really good home. I'm happy.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love this still life. Yeah. I like looking at older things like the diamond matches in the background. And
I'm
is
looking
that
at
like an
Old
old
Spice, that dates
Old
that
Spice?
dates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the dental floss with the top that has the
like
cutter.
a salt shaker.
The cutter.
Oh. Yeah.
And you know, my father used to use those. I remember him using those brushes and that Old Spice thing. I remember it. I
Look
mean,
at
I guess
this
he
one.
was
Look at
taught,
this one
you
here.
know.
Look at this one here. All
Oh,
curved up
man.
dental floss. It's like golden. It's like golden.
So which hard light did you use to photograph this?
What?
You used a hard light. What'd you do? A on-camera flash?
You know what? I don't know. I'd have to look. I may have used a flash.
It was a flash, but was it diffused any sort of way?
No, I don't do that stuff.
Okay.
I do some things, but I don't do that stuff.
Well, it tells the story. It tells the story.
Does to me. My daddy.
Bring it in here.
What's that tall thing like in the background?
Telescope.
Yeah, really cool old telescope.
Oh.
I don't think it really brought things closer much, but it was cool, and I really wanted it. But like I said, you pick your battles.
Yeah, know what you mean. My kids is already divvying up my stuff and I'm still alive.
Yeah.
You're lucky because mine are not interested in my stuff.
You better have a food taster when you visit them.
Yeah, that's one of the great pleasures in my life is having those kids, because come Thanksgiving and Christmas, because everybody's grown, everybody's gone. I'm seriously in the empty nest.
Yeah.
And now with this
Same.
pandemic going, so, you're getting around your youngins and they're doing well. They all left the house and none of them come back with more people than they left with, you know. So it's good. It really is good.
At least they didn't come back with their laundry like I did.
All us guys do that.
Oh no, my daughter came back 2 or 3
Photo
times.
received an 8. The score on this photo was an 8.
Yeah.
Did everybody see that?
Okay, and the next picture is elephant. Ooh.
Oh, texture.
So this is Jay. Hi, everybody.
Hey.
Why
I got
don't
this
you
wonderful-
shrink it a smidgen?
I got this wonderful membership with the LA Zoo, and I got to go one time before the pandemic started. And they were gracious enough to offer me a 2-month extension on my membership. And I called and complained because it's just a matter of they were closed a lot longer than the 2 months. And not only that, you couldn't get your hands on a reservation if you stood on your hand and did a jig. So I've been to the zoo a few times, mostly with my buddy Elaine. And this was on a trip with Dorota. And I love the elephants. And if you've been to the LA Zoo and you see where it is that they keep the elephants, you'll know that the best advantage to taking a photograph includes wire, chain, concrete. So in camera, I just zoomed until all I had was elephant, hence the name of my photo. I got a little bit of bonus here because I got some straw. I love the textures.
Love that.
You got it at the right time of day as well.
I think so. I think I got lucky in that respect. And I think the processing I did was in Lightroom. I played with shadows. I played with highlights as opposed to using contrast. And very little else.
Makes it nice and soft.
I like the texture, and yes, the soft.
Yeah, but it's sharp. It's sharp. I can see all in the cracks, the crevices. It's sharp.
Yeah, oil of Olay, right?
And the hay actually adds a little shadow to it as well. When you look at it, there's some dimension there.
Well, and the hay adds a story, because what just happened to bring that hay upon him, and then I like how his eye is closed.
I can tell you what happened. They have a feeding cage that they put their trunk into, and they just move the hay. And then when the hay falls to the floor, they scoop it up with their trunk, and every now and then they throw it over their head for whatever reason, and that's where it landed. So I guess this throwing it over their head is out of frustration because they spent all of this time, I'm speaking for an elephant, they spent all this time sweeping it with their trunk and balling it up and curling it up and putting it into their mouth. And in that last second, it's like, why'd I do all that? And they go for more from the feeding cage.
See it.
But I love the reverence of the eye closed. It's like it's offering a prayer or something. I don't know. It looks like that.
That's the way I eat.
Big shot, Jay.
That's the way I eat. Just throw that hay over my head.
I'm going to end the polling. Wow, there's not enough votes. There we go.
I think somebody left, no?
I think somebody came in, but I don't know who,
Okay.
so I didn't let them in.
It's me.
Who's me?
Linda,
Hi, Linda.
I am back.
So we have ending the polling. Oh my goodness, I made the newsletter.
Woohoo!
Well done.
Wow.
Thank you for the 8.
Keep having pictures like that and you'll make the newsletter.
I thought if I just keep my name off the watermark, I'd make the newsletter.
Probably have a better chance.
Right?
Monument Valley.
Ooh,
Very good.
Awesome.
very nice.
Jim, unmute yourself.
Very nice.
Okay, the story behind this picture is that I put it in the wrong list. It was supposed to go in list number 1. The Methuselah tree was supposed to be in this batch. And my comment on the tree was going to be, I finally found something as old as I am, so I just had to take a picture of it. About this one, it's just one of many that I've taken with our wanderings through the national parks. Not really much to say about it. Monument Valley is a beautiful place.
Make a lot of Westerns in that neck of the woods.
Yeah.
I really like the leading lines of the stick or branch on the bottom. It looks like even a root of the tree, as well as the way the dirt falls off on the left, and then leads you all the way up through the center straight to the hill.
I even like the way the shadow kind of divides it a little bit. And then
Yep.
you pick up the background. Mhm.
But you know
But the
that
lighting overall is gorgeous. It's not blown out.
It's like a
Yeah,
What
the
time of
right
day did
time
you
of
take
day.
that?
Late afternoon.
Late afternoon? Real late?
No, pretty late. See how long that shadow is?
Yeah.
It means that sun was getting pretty low. But
Yeah.
it wasn't too low. That's why you
He's
don't
a
see
for-
anything
here's a
blowing out
forensic-
either. Mhm.
He's like a forensic photographer.
I do it for a living.
You do.
Yes.
Thank you for pointing that out. That means a whole lot to me. It's gonna change the way I view photos from now on. Paying attention to detail like that. Thank you, George.
Jim, what f-stop did you have? It's
I
so
really
short.
I don't remember, to tell the truth. This was a slide which I scanned. Took it a few years ago. It was a Kodachrome picture.
Oh, nice, nice.
From
I was
last
thinking about Kodachrome, that person that we saw in that other country who got his foot cut off. That would have made a beautiful Kodachrome capture as well.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He only got his toe cut off.
Yeah, but they're right.
Me
You
out
know,
the whole
they're
book.
right. It's
Crop
the
him
little
next
things
time,
with
I'll put
mustard.
his toe back in. It was
I'm
cropped.
going to share the results of the poll. This received a 9, but I do want to point out it received 5 votes towards stellar. So my compliments to my dear friend Jim. And Jim, I thank you for getting me into this whole thing. I really love it. And it was you that turned me on to the first photo club I went to. But you do realize I was there 8 months and they folded.
Yeah, you have a way with it,
You
huh?
think it's because of you?
No, they've been around since 1972. I came in and they folded 8 months later.
Okay,
What
I'm
is
not sure.
protocol?
It's film.
Okay, thank you.
I don't know the name of this. It says conversation special topic.
Yes, that's
I don't
okay.
know what the name is.
That's okay. That's exactly it. Is Leonid still with us? So let's vote on this picture.
Another good lifestyle.
You shouldn't have cut off the bottom of her shoe.
It isn't. It isn't
It's
cut
not.
off.
It's not. It's got maybe 1/8 of an inch clearance.
No, Jay, make it smaller for a second. See?
Oh my goodness.
Got a whole lot.
Ah,
Hey, Jay.
never mind.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. And if anybody going forward has a feeling that it's filling too much of the screen, let me know. Because I'm viewing it on a monitor that's different than yours.
We might go back and look at the blue man and see if the toe is really cut off.
No, that one.
Oh, that was on the side.
Don't get me in trouble. I checked that one.
Okay.
Looks like Bambi and
If
Deidre
they-
out on the street.
If they didn't have a cell phone in their hand, what would they have in their hand?
Ice cream cones.
Much better.
Coca-Cola.
Are they calling you, Jay? They're going to
Carl's
say they're
Jr.
going to come to the meeting?
Carl's Jr., but they'd have to be wearing white.
We have a 7. This photo scored a 7. This was Leonid's per submission.
And the next picture is sunset. And it is.
This is Linda's.
I remember that day.
I just took this right around the corner from my house and I recognized the silhouette, but those colors and the Z almost it just got my attention.
Zorro, yeah.
Yeah.
And can you tell us about the camera, the smartphone, the post
It was
technique?
a Nikon 7200 or 7000. That's all I remember.
Sweet camera. And any post?
Minimal. It was mostly just cropping.
Excellent. And I think she's out of words.
I like these pictures. To me, I shoot them and I can never make it come to life like this one is. Thank you.
It's a matter of timing.
Yep.
I like the peaches and the blues.
Yeah, I like how it
Color.
conveys. I like how it conveys the impulse for you to take the picture. I
So
feel
they
the
make puzzles out of pictures like this. Hang them on the walls in certain
This
hospitals
photograph.
and institutions.
This photograph.
It has a calming effect.
Yes, it does. There's a Facebook group that is all about clouds, and I'm really enjoying the postings that I see there.
Right. I shoot quite a few clouds myself, but not for the pure enjoyment. I use them for the injection into other images.
There you go. There you go. That received a 7. Thank you, Linda.
Next picture is the roots of my soul.
Oh, here's another good one.
Wow.
I have to tell you, this is Lynn Levitt here, and this place is the Alabama mountains outside of Lone Pine, and right at the base of Mount Whitney. And I'll go there in the drop of a hat. I mean, just say, I'll take you, Lynn, and I'll be with you. I'll be your tour guide. I'll be anything you want. Just take me with you when you go there. I wrote myself some notes and I put on here, if you get near the 395 highway, I say take it. And your friend of Ansel Adams, please go. You can actually, they have I don't know what you call them, the numbers where they have figured out exactly where he took his pictures from. And I've enjoyed catching one of those too. So I get there, I put my feet on the ground and I just feel one with the earth. And I shoot with the Canon 5D Mark II, full frame. And look at those clouds back there. I mean, there's just, I take this shot over and over. Every time I go, I take this picture. It's like that special spot.
Have you thought about a panorama?
I have done several, but not.
This cries out for a panorama.
Yeah.
This also cries out for an homage to Ansel Adams in black and white.
Right. Well, I actually have done a lot of black and whites, but like I said, every time I go, I shoot this. So this is the one I selected for this time. And I do turn them into black and white. And
You're good with this one here. Because I like the way they contrast against the sky to the rocks. I like it better color.
You know, there's a short loop you can hike that takes you to something called the Mobius Arch. And you can photograph Mount Whitney through the Mobius Arch. It's not a long hike.
Been there, done that. Everybody gets that shot. It's great.
Yeah, it's very pretty.
Somebody had a question on the screen. Did anybody address it? They were asking what focal length was.
Focal point.
Who
to see
that?
Was it a wide angle or was it a? I think that was a question, whether it was a wide angle or.
Yeah, what camera was used?
It was not a wide angle. I think it's a. Heck, I don't know all these years. So 35 to. I don't know, 150. I don't know. I'm not sure. It's on. Is it on there, Jay?
I don't want to share it.
Oh.
It's the thing that's in it is not.
Yeah, he doesn't want to.
The metadata fields are blank. They're just showing up as blank. I already looked.
Oh.
Okay.
And I'm going to end the polling now. I'm going to share the results. This received an 8. It received an 8. It gets to make it to the Tuesday Newsday newsletter.
Oh, I thought I wasn't going to get there, Jay.
Okay, the next picture is the debutante.
Oh.
Oh.
That's Pasadena?
I know where this was taken. Was this in Pasadena?
Is the maker
Yeah.
here with us? There we go.
Okay, so this is one of those instances where it was really challenging to work that day. This is an old photo that I took of this, young lady. So it was a portrait session from some years back, because I don't do this anymore. That place is notorious for photographers and their clients. And if you go to the usual spots, there's always a line waiting for their turn. So I walked around a bit, and when I saw this location, I already saw the picture in my mind. And I did 2 versions of this photograph. One that I shot her from the bottom, which is this one, and the other one that I shot from the top, pointing down at her. It's funny because I had a lot of close-up shots of her and the usual stuff, but these were the 2 photos that she ordered in big print. She had them printed in a 20 by 30. So I used only one pointed lighting, which was coming from the right. And I used that purposely to create the shadow over there. And basically that's it. The flash was high-speed sync. It's a daytime field flash, so it's high-speed sync. This was shot on a Nikon DF. And I'm not sure if the lens was my trusty 24-70 or if it was a little wider, but I'm almost certain it's the 24-70.
Where in Pasadena is this?
The City Hall.
So I recognized it, Jay.
24 millimeter, 24-70 lens, 2.8.
Yeah.
On a Nikon.
Yep, that's the one. It's the 24-70. Although this was not probably a 2.8. Probably this is like maybe. Did the exit data say what aperture, Jay?
Yes, it does. F4, 1/500th of a second, ISO 200, exposure bias 0.
Yep.
And it is a 2470 f2.8 lens.
Yep. Thank you.
Shot at 24 millimeter.
Yeah, and then of course converted to black and white in post-processing. So this is similar to my earlier shot because I wanted to show shots that were big with the person purposely small, because it's the person accentuating the location. It's not necessarily about the person. Anyway.
You burn that right corner?
Sorry, what?
Did you burn down the right corner?
I
The
don't.
right of the stairwell, all to the right, to the lower.
Oh, I see.
You understand what I'm saying?
Did I burn? Did I burn the what?
Yes, yeah. In post, did you burn the right side of the image?
George, here or here?
Yes, yes, all of that, yep. All of that. Because see, his light's to the right and it's up high. See the shadow up under her chin? So it's high. But if it's coming from this direction, something's cutting the light off, or either he burned it, one of the two. So I was just curious.
No, the light was from the right.
Right,
My right.
the light's from the right. But you got significant fall over here to the right as well. It complements the photograph. It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing.
Yeah,
Kinda like up there at the top.
that's the way it was imagined. I purposely did that on purpose.
So that came out the camera like that. Yeah, you did good.
No, I didn't hear what you say. Did you say burned? Did I burn something?
Yes, burned.
Dodge and burn.
Oh, no, I don't think I did. I mean, no. The one thing I did was I probably brightened her a little bit, but that's about it. She already had the flash on her.
Okay,
so.
okay.
This received an 8. This photo received an 8. The next
picture is Promise. No, yeah, it is.
So I am Nora Flynn, Nora,
Hi,
and it was taken about 5 years ago. It was about a year after my husband died.
I'm sorry for your loss.
And I use photography for healing. This is from my backyard. And I saw that bird and it was like a promise of life.
It's beautiful.
And that's what I saw in it. I cropped it. It looks like there's a flash, but there's no flash. I think I over processed it. I don't know. The camera 5 years ago, I think it was a Canon 40D. I'm not sure. It was 40D or 60D. I don't remember. That's about all I remember.
Lovely.
It's lovely.
Very nice.
Yes, it is.
I love the crop. I love the depth of the light to dark and the promise. I see your vision.
Yeah, yeah. So I saw, it was, a promise for life, to life.
I'm going to end the polling.
I'm not seeing the polling on my side.
Who said that?
That's Claire. I'm on my phone, so I apologize.
You won't see it on your phone.
Oh, I've done a couple though. That's what's so weird.
It's on the screen under or something like that. It is weird.
It'll pop up though. It just depends on how your view is. You might have to.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll switch my view. Okay, I apologize.
We have an 8.
Great pictures.
This scored an 8.
Thank you.
It makes the newsletter.
And the next
Mine
picture,
doesn't. Okay. The next picture,
Hairpin curve.
okay, the next picture I'm going to show.
Ooh, awesome.
Oh, wow.
One moment, please.
Wow.
One moment, please. This is by Rich Green. He's not able to be here tonight, but he was very, very creative. And he sent me an audio file.
This is Grimes Canyon Road, aka California State Route 23 between Moore Park and Fillmore. I first saw this spot about 4 years ago on a Sunday afternoon drive. Then mentally filed it away as a place I wanted to revisit to shoot long exposures of light trails from the cars and maybe, just maybe, a decent sunset too. But I wasn't able to get back there till about a year later. And the day I did choose to go back looked promising initially. The forecast had called for partly cloudy skies after a week of rain, so I crossed my fingers that the aforementioned decent sunset would materialize as well. I got there early, way early as it turned out, but hey, the early bird thing? Yeah, no. I parked on a turnout far enough away from the road so no crazed speed demon would hit my car. Found a place that wasn't too muddy from the recent rains to set up my gear, and waited. I did pass the time by experimenting with different comps until it eventually got dark enough for the cars to turn on their lights and I could start having some real fun. My original plan was to shoot wide enough to include the lights of Fillmore and the mountains beyond. But no, the clouds rolled in, blocking out the sun. And yes, ruining any chance for the hope for decent sunset. So I turned to plan B, which was just to zoom in enough on the curve of the road to make it the star. This is a 68-second exposure, and I like that there's still a lot of depth and detail in the surrounding hills. I also think it's cool the way the lights morph from yellow to red on both sides of the road as the cars navigate their way around the curve. Very trippy indeed.
Thank you, Rich.
Wow.
Oh.
Good.
He sounds like a weather person or, announcer.
He does voice work.
It shows.
I think that was his first time doing that.
How creative, yeah.
I'm very pleased with his creative thought to send in a voice file. That was wonderful.
Yeah.
I saw the email today. I wrote him back right away. Positively, you got it, buddy.
Yeah. This is here.
And I hope you heard him okay.
Yep.
I'm gonna end
Before the
call.
pandemic, where do you guys meet?
6 feet away from each other.
Well, I mean, but like, is there a location?
Wherever we go.
No, this group is formed after a pandemic, and we
Interesting.
only meet online. And I intend to keep things the same way after we've all had our vaccinations. It's nice.
Huzzah.
Nice to be able to sit here with you with no pants and have a meeting.
You reading my mind, Jack.
But we do meet up to go walking and shooting.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Yes, we do.
Call them jaywalks.
Thank
Oh,
you.
nice.
Oh, skateboarder during VFC photo walk.
Okay, it's
That's not
mine.
spelled
I'm
right.
Steve Rosenzweig, and decided to go on a photo walk with this great photo club. And,
Timer, Jay.
Thank
we
you.
ended up in Venice, California, not the other Venice. And, taking this picture was interesting. First of all, I was standing right next to Terry Mendelsohn. So if you see any similarity to his picture, we were right next to each other. The things you obviously have to think about are the speed of the movement. And I shot this at 1/4000th of a second using an electronic shutter. You have to worry about the face because usually by the time they came up to the top, they were facing away the other direction. But I was able to catch his face this way. I did use face lighting to light up his face a little bit. It was a little bit dark. Some of the things we had to worry about were the distractions of the people watching. Also in that bowl, it was not evenly shaped, and there was a lot of shadows underneath that had to be cropped out. And it was actually cute. His dog was following him everywhere and looking at him if you were there. So it's cropping, face lighting. Was taken with a 16 to 80 millimeter zoom, and it was set at 46. And I had the high-speed burst, but it's not like Terry's. It's only 8 bursts, and Terry said his was 40, I think.
50.
50. You made an
50, yeah.
impression on us.
So, and my Fuji X-T2, I had it set at 8 on the high-speed burst, and that kid was amazing.
He was so good. Yeah.
His mother has nothing to worry about, huh?
Nope. I'm a
You
grandma. and
don't
I
need a
can
50
tell you,
burst to
nope.
get that photo. So you did very well.
I'm gonna have to learn how to do these high speed. Yeah.
Stephen, that was your first walk with us.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed it. I encourage people to go whenever you can.
We did the Venice
Great
canals.
group of people. It's a lot of fun.
We did the Venice canals that day, and then we walked over to the boardwalk, and then we walked over to the skate park. And you were awesome company on that trip. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, in order to shoot that high speed, you need a mirrorless camera.
Yes. And right now, my budget doesn't call for a $4,000 camera.
I have the Olympus, which is the micro 4/3, and it's a great camera and very lightweight, not full
I'm
frame.
totally committed to Hasselblads and Canon, so for me to switch over would cost me a fortune.
Yeah, I understand.
I had a fortune, emphasis on the word had.
It's received an 8. This photo received an 8, and it had quite a few votes for 9. So Stephen, good job there.
Thank you.
I'm curious, I'm not going to poll anybody any further, but I'm curious why it lost a point with the majority. Wonderful photo. Excellent skill in your post-processing. Thank you for sharing those details.
Next picture is I see you. I spelled E-Y-E.
The maker of this photo present? Is the maker
What is that? What is that, a rat or a muffet?
Susie, you there? Because she's not there.
That's probably also Anza Borrego, probably, and
Yes, I'm here.
Okay,
This is
okay.
Anza Borrego, and this guy had blue eyes Thursday. Whatever the color of the sky is, that's the color of his eye, but you have to know where to stand.
Yeah, I see that. Go ahead, Susie.
But I love the sculptures in that valley. The rams, the wild pigs, the horses, the saber-toothed tigers,
Was this-
sloths. And
Could
they're all huge except for the farm workers, and they're pretty much the right size.
What kind of creature is this? I'm not recognizing. What kind of a creature is it?
Rat.
It's a rat?
No, it's, see, I have the book here. It's got some kind of name I can't pronounce.
If I saw a rat that big,
Paul Orkin.
This valley was owned by Avery, of Avery Labels.
yeah.
And he hired this guy, Ricardo Brasida, to make these metal sculptures. And Ricardo is known as the accidental artist. He has a place along 79 going towards Borrego where he sells his work. He has a lot of these things there.
Susie?
there's
tell
like
me about-
41 different ones.
Tell me about Borrego. Is this a day trip or you really should spend the night?
Spend the night.
Well, I go there with the Antique Motorcycle Group on the first weekend in March. it was canceled this year. So some friends and I went. One had never been, and I knew the valley, so we went and made a day of it. It was a day trip, but it's a long day.
Isn't it true that there is antique motorhomes and they're for rent for the night?
Oh, I think it's trailers.
Trailers, thank you.
Yes, yes, they
They
are.
have antique trailers and they're
Oh,
for rent for the
glamping.
night.
And they have a nighttime cut off at 10 o'clock. They shut off all the lights in the city.
Right.
Why do they do that?
So you can see the
Stargazers.
sky.
Skies.
Uh-huh.
It's an open sky law.
Okay.
It's not too far from San Diego. So if you spend time.
We
in
were
San
there. We
Diego,
were there a couple of weeks ago.
I was there last Thursday and I asked the rangers about, it's had a little bit of rain. So I asked him, he says, no, not enough. Not enough to bring the flowers on. But I've been in Coyote Canyon and Henderson Canyon when the flowers were up to 2 and 3 feet tall. They were gorgeous. If you like, I would post some of their pictures. But 1 week, the cactus, the floor was all in bloom with yellows and ground verbena and white desert lilies. And the next week, the lilies were gone, half the floors was cleared, and the cactus was blooming.
Oh, wow.
They've
But
got
the
this
rest of it was
amazing
gone.
serpent there too. And the serpent starts on one side of the road and ends up on the other side of the road. It's really
Oh
amazing.
yeah, he's neat. He's, when you see that, you know it's Borrego Springs because that's their calling card, I believe.
Thank you, Susie. You received a 7.
Oh,
Seven
well,
on the
thank
photo.
you.
So we're both going to make our own newsletter, right? We'll publish that in another forum.
I get
But
to
his eyes change with the sky.
Thanks for the share. That
You're
was
welcome.
great.
The
I really
next
enjoyed it.
picture is Let's Jump.
Woo!
Oh, love this.
Oh, this is great.
Happy,
So this is,
Lovely.
so this
happy,
is my,
happy
this-
picture.
Moment, please. Terry Mendelson has the microphone.
okay, so this is my picture. This was taken in Madagascar. We were in this little area where there's an isolated fishing village. And my son and I were sitting outside and we were watching a video on his computer and pretty much ignored what was going on. And all of a sudden we look up and there's 5 kids looking over our shoulder watching the thing with us. So I grabbed them and took them down to the beach and I had a pantomime because none of them spoke a word of English. And I had a pantomime that I said, 1, 2, 3, and you guys jump. And these kids did it maybe 40 times for me. And this is the best one of the captures.
That's great.
I love the one that's boxing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love all of them.
Fist up and
Yeah, the boxer's awesome. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely.
and
I
he's got
like the fact that they're not all looking at me, you know,
Mhm.
they're just in different positions.
They were 39 times ago.
Oh my God. I'm telling you, they were like 20 shots, like 30 times. I mean, these kids, I was just blasting away. So, you know,
3 of them looking at you.
half the time they, you know, a couple of them didn't jump or they, you know, they were overlapping or something, you know, so it's okay.
Did you give
Luckily,
them
they had
reward,
enough
Terry?
energy.
Yeah. So
What
anyway,
he's not telling you is he brought him one of those 5-minute, what are they called? The energy drinks?
yeah. Yeah.
They're all on Red Bull.
Yeah.
They're all
so-
OD'd on Red Bull. That's what it is.
Well, in the middle of nowhere.
This
they were
was
bored as
taken at a
hell.
good time of day too, because they're well lit
Yeah, thank you.
and not overblown. You know, like sometimes at the beach, the sun is so bright. So this was
Very
like,
long shadows, right, George? Very long.
Right. Sun's low in the sky.
Low in the sky.
And you're getting
Late
feel back
afternoon.
from the sand.
The next morning they came out to greet us again, and they were still, they looked at me and started jumping without even my asking. It was just hilarious.
They kids, don't you remember?
Oh, yeah.
Did you show them the
Bouncing
picture?
off the walls all the time.
Terry, did you show them the picture you took?
I showed them a few on the back. I think that's why they got enthused about jumping. And whenever we travel, foreign, that's one way to get people to cooperate. You take a shot of them and then you show them, the photo, and a lot of people are just putty in your hands.
Photo received an 8. The photo received an 8.
Thank you.
Now I'm going to give Lynn her 2-second warning. Wow, that was a nice show, and a nice way to finish that sharing. So what did you guys think about sharing our photos and talking about them?
As I said earlier, I think it's very informative. It helps me to think about how I can better my photography. I can crop this here a little bit more, or I can pick up this, it's very helpful.
But always come from your own heart, come from your own heart, my dear. Because a lot of things you will see, we might not see until after you see it. And then we can say, oh, yeah. But some of the best pictures that I've ever seen out there were pure accidents.
I think the whole place should
Thank
be
you,
like that.
George, for saying that, for recognizing that.
Yeah,
So
each person is creative. Each person has its own view.
What I would like to say is that we ran from 6:30 sharp to 9 o'clock, and we were able to see 17 photos that we spoke of. So if we do this again, I will have to take some control over how many photos we get to see in a night. Hopefully there won't be any objections to that, and we'll go like 20 and 15, and we'll finish at a more reasonable hour and maintain, membership viewing. We have dropped a few viewers, but not too many, and we all have lives and we all have things that need to be done. So Lynn is going to do our 10-minute session, as you read in the newsletter, and Lynn has produced several award-winning pieces of fine art. The Shy Bell Award, 4 awards from JACC for photo illustration, feature photo, magazine design and layout, and bring-in photo. Her work has hung in the Architectural and Design Museum, the Japanese Museum, 3 times in the Getty Museum.
Wow.
Vincent Price Museum, and several one-woman shows. She has been recognized by many council members of the San Fernando Valley, by former supervisor 3rd District, hard to pronounce name, Zev Yaroslavsky, congressional recognition from Congressman Brad Sherman. Lynn, did he give you a flag too? He gives everyone a flag that has flown over the US Capitol. You know that, don't you?
Yes, I
And the
did.
former governor of California, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Lynn is currently known for her work as a theater and set photographer and a member of, she's going to tell us what this is, PPAGLA.
It's the Press Photographers Association. I'm just going to make it short.
She can't even remember what the GLA stands for.
It's Los Angeles, Press Photographers Group, Los Angeles.
There we go. Okay, ready to see you share.
Okay, thank you. Well, first off, I've done this so it can run all the way through, or I can stop it and I have comments to make in between so you don't fall asleep on me. I would like you to allow me to run it through, and then if you need to ask questions, I'll be happy to ask them afterwards if you want to hang around. Is that okay with you?
Perfect.
Okay, so I do set in theater photography, and I shoot manually with a Canon Mark II 5D and a Sony mirrorless A6300. And what I've done is I've put together several clips of movies and theater. First, before we start that, there's a little introduction about the do's and don'ts of set photography. And then right after that, you're going to see a trailer made for money backers of the film A Man Before Time. And this shows a lot of my still work, and I'm very proud of it. Trailers usually are not done behind the camera shots, but when the money backers, they want to know where the money's going, the producer provides. So we're going to jump right into it, and here we go.
Lynn Levitt
Yep, sorry.
is a theater and movie set photographer. Her job is to get the shot. The job description is easy. Don't shoot near the director. Don't shoot near the cameraman. Don't shoot near the sound man. Don't be in the eye level of the actors. Do make yourself invisible. Do hide in small places, like in a corner, on the floor, down beside a trash can, or from some distant place above. With all that said, let's get on with the show. Captain Gracie. Afraid. General Aga Petros, a pleasure to see you both again. General Aga Petros, I carry accolades from Great Britain for your valiant actions at Soldu's.
One of our requests for a promise from the great powers that they will help us create an independent Assyria.
Isn't that where Marshamoon lives? Yes. Marshamoon is the secular and spiritual leader of Assyrian Christians. He has no future if we stay here. You're right. For him to have a good education and for us to live a better, safer life, we must leave Charbash.
The Urmia Manifesto for the United and Free Assyria. This shall be our guide moving forward hereforth. Christian casualties everywhere. From the Tigris Valley, I received this letter from a church. Many of the women of Mansuria threw themselves into the river to avoid falling into the hands of the Kurds. But it's not just the wartime atrocities. There's the scourge of a deadly disease. Typhoid is taking the lives of Christians who have not been put to the sword. What's the meaning of this? Who sent you? Be quiet. I'm the head physician.
Today, history regards Phraden as a pioneer and visionary. If he had been able to unite the realms he sought, the Assyria of his dreams would have been one of the richest nations, a democratic, peaceful, Christian nation. The bloody history of the region may have never come to pass.
Are these your stills?
Yes, they are. Okay, I'm just going to move through this and please do ask me questions. Next part is the very first film I worked on. I went on the interview. They said I had the job, and then I had the job for a week, and then I didn't have the job at all. So 1 week into the shoot, I got a phone call 11:30 in the evening saying, "Can you be there at 6:30 a.m.?" And I said, "Sure," and I hung up. There's only one problem. I'd never been a set photographer. So I got online on the internet and learned everything I could. I had 4 hours sleep and showed up on set at 6:15 in the morning. And I've worked with these directors and producers ever since. So these are some scenes from The Big Goofy Secret of Hidden Pines.
Big feet.
Okay, we're going to take you to the theater, and we're going to see some clips from Tartuffe, Arabian Nights, and Hairspray. And I put 2 pictures in that are the same. We'll call them the before and after pictures. They'll be in the last group of pictures. And I just have to tell you, what you take a picture of and you think is going to be best for your directors and your producers don't necessarily come out the way you hoped, and you'll see that when you see the pictures. By the way, when I shoot theater, I have to shoot from 6:30 to 10 o'clock at night, and I have to have 10 to 20 pictures picked out, ready, sized, just exactly the way they want them. And I have to have them already emailed out by 9 o'clock in the morning. Here we go. Could you see the difference there in those 2 shots?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lynn, what is important about taking pictures? You know, what makes a theater set photographer different than regular photography?
I wasn't any different than regular photography. I think the fact that I had a child that was a gymnast for many, many years, and I understood how to use muscle movement and how to watch for that to get that moment. And I only shoot about 300 shots per night for each show. I'm not a clicker because that means I have to go through them all, and I don't have the time to do that. What I'm going to do show you now are some of my favorite photos of various theater, and well, okay, I'm kidding because they're all my favorite for different reasons. So moving on. that was just a group, couple from each show, and you heard the saying that money can't buy me love, but you have an opportunity to star in your own short. All you have to do is find one of the Russia's finest directors and thank this girl's mom and dad. And this is called The Reel. This is her dream to do a reel because she wanted to be an actress. And enjoy.
Oh,
We made the rain. Okay, we never knew what happened if she got any work from it, but it's very costly. Okay, this is what I call my blood and guts pictures. One set is called Active Shooter, and it was produced by the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department as a training film. 1 month later, after we filmed this on the same campus, a real active shooter showed up. I went back to the campus because I knew it pretty well, and I was doing photojournalism, and I could only capture a sheriff and the sniffing dogs, and that was about it because they wouldn't let me go in any closer. And then the next one will be, it's called The American Mobster, and it was filmed in my house. I run an ad and I hire out my house for people to shoot. And then we'll morph into my first music video. It's only 3 pictures, and it's called The Hanged Man. Here we go. Okay, we're gonna close the show with 2 dancing presentations. One's called the Melage Fall Dance Contest, and the other is a one-woman show by a dancer and actress. Her name is Palmer Davis, and then we can have question time. Okay, let me close this down. So I'm open game. Ask me a question.
What made you decide to take up this, audition or at least interview for that?
Well, actually, I was doing jewelry design, and to have my product shot by somebody else was way too expensive for me. So I kind of got in, and I thought, well, if I can just study everybody else's flyers that came out. So I started shooting my own jewelry. And then I thought, well, if I can shoot my own jewelry, then I can go out and I can do anything I want. So there's a friend of mine, and I should thank him because he's the one that got me into this business. His name's Alan Chu, and he's the guy the go-to guy, because you just don't bother the producer and you never bother the director. So this is the guy you go to answer any questions you have. The directors and producers will come up to you and they will give you instructions, and they'll say, hey, today I want you to shoot Henry pointing his finger, or Henry going like this, or face to face with somebody, or the next day it'll be, now I want you to shoot the teenage Bigfoot. I want you to really focus on him today. And that's just how it is. And now they don't tell me anything. I just go forth and do it, unless I work for another director. And then it's kind of starting out all over again. I just like it. I'm panic, I was going to say a different word, but I'm just pleased that I see instant gratification. I not only get to see in theater the whole play, I can go to it free on the next Friday. This is usually a Wednesday night we do this. So seeing jumping in the air and the building of the leap, and it's just exciting. How's that?
Yeah,
Thank
bravo.
you.
I don't know if you know the answer to this, but in the very first video that you showed,
yes,
on all the stills, they always started and then they zoomed out. They never zoomed in. Do you know if there's a reason for that?
Yes, I cut it in half so you didn't have to see the boring part. Seriously. Yeah, I did this on Premiere Pro. Don't laugh. I don't know how to do a simple slideshow. It's just beyond me. And since I used something 0.7, anyway, and they don't make it anymore. And if you lose your hard drive on your computer, you'll lose your program. And I always kept losing that program. So it was time that I stepped up and, graduated to this new program. And it can be very easy once you know the basics. I just line all the pictures up and I press little buttons and it'll size them all. And then I add music. Thank my husband for the music and for the introduction. And yes, I'm on YouTube. You can look me up, Lynn Levitt, and I have plenty of trips to other places and interesting interviews with other people. And if I could give you any advice, I think what I needed the most is an in. I needed somebody to get me in the door. And once I got in the door, it was up to me as to how much I wanted to work. And at my age, 72, I just decided I don't want to work that much. I want to enjoy what I do. So I stay with independents. I don't, I'm not union. And it's very expensive to join the union, and it's not worth it to me. I make more money renting out my house for them to shoot in it than I could ever think of earning anywhere else.
So how long ago was this that you started film and theater?
I was just thinking it's about 8 years now.
Okay. And you answered my other question, which is I was wondering if you were in the local 600 or not.
Oh, thank you.
So how did you get in the door? What was your so
I did martial arts before, and I'm a 2nd degree black belt in Hapkido, and my friend Alan Chu, I kept bugging him and say, hey, if there's any opportunity for me, just, call me. I'll be there. I guess he wanted me to leave him alone. So he finally found me that opportunity and I jumped on it.
What position is he?
He's the, I'm going to get killed right now or slaughtered. Is it the AD? The right after the producer and the director, and then he's that person.
Okay, yeah, there's
assistant director.
The AD, that's all I know him as.
Assistant director.
Yes, AD.
Yeah, there's like first AD, second AD.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, because I know there's Facebook groups. Just my background, before getting laid off last year, I did entertainment payroll for 4.5 years. So I'm kind of familiar with the industry.
Yes.
But I know that there's non-union production job openings, like in Facebook. There's group, and I'm in one of them that's non-union. So I guess it's and then it sounds like you work with the same people a lot, because the business has a lot of nepotism, so it's hard to break in.
Yeah.
And then once you break in and build relationships, it's all about getting called back.
Right. I mean, working with this, I couldn't even say his name, and I didn't write it down, but I was told he is the director in Russia. And so I know what was called the reel was to get that girl out there in front of people, and she figured she'd get out there by using this, director. And like I said, I don't know what happened to her, but that's how she thought she was going to break into the business. And about the nepotism, I'd have to say that is very true. I started working in Technicolor Corporation in 1966. I got in. I was in the union only because my mother was there first and she got me in. And to do that now, you need to know somebody.
Yeah, exactly. So I have some technical questions also. So actually, somebody shot with a 5D Mark II earlier tonight, and mentioned that the pictures get really grainy when you go above ISO 400. And so you're still using a 5D Mark II when you're on set and in the theater?
Right. Well, it just depends on what I feel like for the day. If I know about what the play is going to be, I probably will use the 5D more. I use the Sony mirrorless because I can be closer to all those people I'm not allowed to be by. And on the last movie, the producer actually had me get right next to the cameraman and sound and everybody else and shoot from that perspective. close up. So I didn't have to worry about the ISO. Their lighting was enough for me. It's
When you're okay.
uh-huh.
Yeah, that's one of my questions.
And I have no control of lighting except my camera. Especially
Yeah.
at theater. Theater changes the lights every 2 minutes. On a movie set,
Pardon,
there's a lot of time to.
pardon.
Yes.
I need to wrap this up. We
Okay.
can continue to talk, but we need to wrap it up for the YouTubers.
Okay.
I want to thank everybody that hung in here until this hour, making it a 3-hour Zoom meeting. I had a blast. I thank you for your patronage and encouragement, and I look forward to next month. Any of the remaining people here, if you want to volunteer for a 10-minute, Lynn,
Yeah.
I'm going to buy you a Timex for Christmas. Your 10 minutes was up 30 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Oh,
So I'm going to say that I really enjoyed what you had to say, and I let it go for as long as I could, but we have to wrap it up for YouTube. So I'm going to stop the recording and you guys can hang in there. I'll keep the room open. Let's all say goodnight.
Good night.
good night.
Good night.
Bye, Lynn. You were wonderful.
Thank you.
Night.
Rock
Hey.
on.
Welcome, Deanna. Keep coming back.
Hey, Lynn.
Yeah.
For sure.
Lynn,
Good night,
yeah.